Hey, and welcome back. So welcome to our Tuesday night live video. Whether you were on here live with us or you're watching the recording, hey, it's great to have you. Yeah, my name is Carmen and we are live every single Tuesday here on the channel. And we do upload 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. We talk mostly about weight loss tips. We have some health and fitness tips. We have some low calorie recipes. And there's a few other things sprinkled in, some Amazon faves, some beauty faves. I did a video recently where my husband did a little spoof on doing my makeup. That was kind of some comic relief. Look, we all need some comic relief now and again. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll put a link to that in the description box. Make sure to do that. It was, if you enjoy funny but cute, you'll definitely like that. So tonight we are going to talk about, so if this is your first time here, 6.5 years ago, I was busting out of a size 22. I was a weight loss failure. I didn't want to be, but I was. I had tried to lose weight for actually more than a decade. I had done so many different diets, most of them not healthy. And I was a walking poster child for what not to do when it came to weight loss. And it wasn't until after we popped out a couple kids that I said something's got to change. And I got started. I used the system of combining fitness with nutrition. I did not have surgery. I didn't do anything extreme for the first time in my life. And I wound up losing 161 pounds in 13 months. I went from a size 22 down to a size 2. And I have maintained that for more than 6 years through a third unplanned child. Of course, when you get pregnant, you gain weight. And then got back down to a size 2 in a very short time after that child. So today we are going to talk about, I'm going to go through 6 different ways that you can keep off the weight that you lose. Because have you ever lost weight before and then you went and found it again? Like you lost weight and then you found it. And I'm always one of those people that, I'm an overachiever. So if I lose 5, I don't just go find 5. I find 6 or 7 or 8. I find much more than I ever lost. Like the 5 that I lost, he comes back and he brings some buddies with him. That's me. And so there have been there's lots of things, I could list off several more than what I'm going to give you tonight, but these are probably the 6 biggest ones of things because let me tell you, this has been the first time that I've ever lost the weight and kept it off. And then the decade prior to 6 years ago, I had lost 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever the amount was, but I always gained it back. I always wound up back at morbidly obese. And I don't know about you, but losing weight is not simple. It is simple, but it's hard. And I don't want to put myself through that hard work only to wind back up just where I freaking was. What? That can be very frustrating, riding the roller coaster of the yo-yo dieting world. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump in. Before we do, if you have not hit the subscribe button, make sure to do that. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of our weight loss tip videos here on the channel. And if you like anything we have to say tonight, or you find anything that we have to say useful or helpful, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. That really helps our channel here on YouTube. And it doesn't cost you nothing, and it really helps us. So let's go ahead and dive in. Number 1. The number 1, and again, there's going to be 6 of these that we're going to list off. Yeah. So number 1 for keeping the weight off is continuing to do what you did to lose it. And I know this sounds simple. Listen, weight loss is not rocket science. It is a simple science, but it sometimes is so simple that we complicate it, or at least I used to. And so many times, this is why I don't like the word diet. I don't like what diet represents, because diet signifies a short term. Diet signifies something you're going to do to get to a very specific goal. All right. And this is one of the things that I did really wrong for a very long time. I dieted, I changed stuff, and you gotta change because nothing changes unless you get a change. However, if you change your behavior to get a desired result, and then when you get that result, you go right back to the old behavior, you're gonna very quickly get the old results. Because, for example, I started off as morbidly obese. I was 288 pounds, busting out of a size 22, wearing Spanx under everything. I had morbidly obese habits. First, we form our habits, and then they form us. So your habits right now are equal the size of your backside. So if you're overweight, you have overweight habits. If you're obese, you have obese habits. If you're morbidly obese, you have morbidly obese habits. And I gotta tell you, that was like a hard pill to swallow 6.5 years ago. Looking in the mirror saying, talking to myself, you have morbidly obese habits. Because, for a long time I lived in like la la land where I was like, oh no, I just have bad genetics. Maybe I have a thyroid problem. There's gotta be something to why I'm overweight. I shoved too much food in my pie hole was the short of it. But your habits are a direct correlation to the size of your bottom. Period. End of story. And for me, it wasn't so much the quantity of food I ate. I was nutritionally retarded and I ate all the wrong foods. So I ate a lot of butters and cheeses and oils and dressings and condiments that were high in calories. Anyway, that's another video for another day. But what I'm saying is, if you start doing fit habits or skinny habits, if you start adapting them to get a certain result, and then when you're done, you go back to your overweight habits. First, we form our habits and then they form us. So whatever habits you are doing every day, and a habit is what you do most of the time. It's not what you do some of the time. So I'm not talking about you can never have pizza, you can never have a donut, you can never have a bacon double cheeseburger. We're going to get to that in a couple minutes. What I'm saying is what you're doing most of the time. And so however you're choosing to lose weight, it better be a way that you can continue to do, that you can make a lifestyle if you want to maintain your results. So after you lose the weight, you've got to keep doing what you've been doing if you want to keep it off. And this is why I failed for so many freaking years. Anyway, we're going to talk about that in a second. All right, number 2, moving your body 30 minutes a day, 6 days a week. When you exercise, you burn calories. Okay? And weight loss is about being in a calorie deficit. And maintaining your weight, when you burn calories by exercising, it means you can eat more. It gives you more grace when it comes to gaining weight. Look, when you eat food, okay, food has calories. The amount of calories we eat is energy. And you burn a certain amount of energy per day. And then when you add exercise on top of it, let's just say you burn 1,200 calories a day by sitting there with your nails growing, breathing, your hair growing, all that stuff. And then let's just say you exercise and you burn 500 calories. Now, instead of being able to eat 1,200 calories to maintain, now I can eat, and that's just an example, that now you can eat 1,700 calories. Or if you burn 1,500 calories per day and then you burn 500 exercising, now that's 2,000 calories you can eat to maintain. Are you with me? So it gives you as somebody who loves food, I now exercise because I like it and it makes me feel good. And, it helps keep me young and it builds the muscle that aging just likes to get rid of. But it gives me more grace with my food. I can eat more. I can eat some of the foods I love without it attaching itself right to my backside. And so moving your body 30 minutes a day is really important for long-term health, long-term agility, long-term aging. Plus, it's really going to help you maintain the weight that you've lost. All right, number 3, weighing yourself daily. Hear me. as somebody who used to have a love-hate relationship with the scale. Love-hate. I loved the scale when I was losing weight and it was telling me what I wanted to hear. And I hated the scale most of my life. In fact, most of my life, I did not own a scale. And when I did own a scale, it certainly wasn't sitting out in my bathroom. It was put away in the closet because I did not need the scale to tell me that I was fluffy. I did not need the scale to tell me that I was overweight. Hello? I could look in the mirror and see that for myself. But what I did was, I didn't treat the scale for what it was. See, all the scale does is give you feedback on your choices, your food, your nutrition choices. That is it. The scale tells you if what you're doing is working or not, okay? If you don't have a scale, you're guessing. You are simply guessing. However, for a very long time, the relationship I had with the scale, I unfortunately put my worth into the scale. I unfortunately put my worth into the number on the scale. Look, you're not going to hear me ever use, unless I'm talking about actual fat, like, a pile of fat. You're very rarely going to hear me refer to a person as fat. And maybe that's because I was morbidly obese and I just don't like the word. I say fluffy. My husband makes fun of me. But I just don't like the word fat because I believe that us as humans, we have fat, but so many of us take that on as an identity and we start to see ourselves as fat or fit or skinny or healthy or whatever. No, listen, if you have fat, that doesn't define you as a person. It just means it's a characteristic that you can change. It's a part of you that, you can change at any point in time. And so having a healthy relationship with the scale, again, it's not about finding your worth in a number on a scale. It's about knowing if what you're doing is working for your health and if it's not. Because if you're trying to lose weight, do you want to know if what you're doing is working or do you want to just be guessing? And I really have a hard time with those people that are like, forget the scale, just go on how you feel. Well, that's great because we can convince ourselves of anything. At Morbidly Obese, I convinced myself that I felt fantastic. I felt amazing. There's no way I could possibly feel better by losing weight because I'm a high energy person. I'm a productive person at 288 pounds, and I was fairly productive. But we can convince ourselves of anything. We can justify anything. We're very talented human beings. We're very sophisticated. If you're trying to lose weight, you've got to be able to measure it. If you're trying to be healthy, you've got to be able to measure it, period, end of story. And so if you're not, if you don't want to weigh yourself, you've really got to ask why. Like, if you're trying to lose weight, why wouldn't you want to use a device that can tell you if what you're doing is working? And chances are it's because you're finding your worth in the number versus just looking at it for what it is, which is data. Data. Listen, I don't get mad at my gas tank in my car when it tells me I'm low on gas. That just tells me how far I've driven and how much gas I have left before I run out. If not, I'd be guessing and I'd probably be stranded on the road a freaking lot. That gauge is really nice because it tells me how low I am on gas. It gives me back, hey, you've used this much gas, here's how much you have left. A scale is very similar. It's an instrument used to give you data, all right? Number 4, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Surrounding yourself with people that are also investing into their health. Whether they're investing, if you're using a particular product, or whether it's just people that are trying to lose weight, a group where everybody's going in the same direction. I was having a conversation with one of my girlfriends a little while back, and she has been on the roller coaster of weight loss several times. And I told her, I said, the last time you went down this path, you got to a point where you were one of the fittest people that you hung out with. You were, out of the people you see every day, you are one of the healthiest. You are one of the fittest. And at that point, it gets kind of hard because you start comparing yourself to everybody else around you. And nobody else around her was working out 6 days a week. Nobody else around her was, making the same decisions she was. And we are a sum total of the 5 closest people that we interact with. And so if you are trying to lose weight and be healthy, 7 out of 10 people are actually greater than that, are overweight. And so if you are just blindly hanging out with people and you're not being at least a little bit, you're not putting some thought into that, you're really setting yourself up to fail. You're setting yourself up to be frustrated. You're setting yourself up to get off track. I'm not saying that you can't hang out with someone that's overweight. Do not put words in my mouth and don't mishear me. I was 288 pounds. I'm very thankful people did not want to hang out with me. But if you want to develop a certain habit and keep that habit, you've got to make sure you are putting yourself in a situation around people that are going in that same direction. Does that make sense? And that is huge. Environment is huge. Birds of a feather flock together. And if you want to flock towards healthy, you better make sure if you have strategically planted some healthy people in your life. And, sometimes you don't have to know them. It can be, we put up four videos a week here on YouTube. Maybe you're going to say, hey, I'm going to watch that girl's channel 4 times a week. And I'm going to make sure I'm putting the right things into here. Maybe it is that you are going to get into, like every single month, we have virtual boot camps where it's like my second family. It's my fit family. We work out together. We track our nutrition. We also have cheat meals. We encourage, we support, we lift up. And so I know without a shadow of a doubt, one of the biggest reasons I've been able to maintain my weight is because every single month I am surrounded with other women that are in my boot camps, that are in our virtual fit clubs, that are in our weight loss challenges, that inspire me. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I would not have the same results if I took that component away. And so that is hugely important. And if I'm being honest, it was the one thing out of all these things I'm giving you, I thought was the biggest hooky spooky, whatever. I don't need that nonsense. I can do it all on my own. I really believed that. And I was so silly. I was so naive. So don't dismiss that because it sounds like all personal growthy and like somehow you're less than. No, it's just wisdom is really what it is. And so, all right, number 5, balance. Having balance, nothing extreme. So when I was talking to you about number 1 and I was saying, however you lost the weight, you better be able to keep doing it. Because if not, if you have one set of habits to lose it, and then you go back to your old way of living, once you get there, you're just going to gain it all back. This is why I am never, ever, ever, ever an advocate of extremes. I'm not an advocate of keto. I'm not an advocate of detoxes. Like if you're going to detox, use food to detox your body. Not all these 20 different pills and elixirs. No. Anyway. Nothing extreme. No cutting out food groups. A balanced diet. I live a life of 80-20. I eat healthy and clean and according to my goals 80% of the time. And the other 20% of the time, I eat junk. I eat stuff with food coloring and processed and peanut butter. Oh, peanut butter. I mean, I guess peanut butter isn't technically unhealthy. It's just freaking super high in calories and it's delicious. I could eat a whole jar. I am very talented when it comes to eating peanut butter. It's my hidden talent. Anyway, so 20% of the time, I'm going to eat the chocolate cake. I'm going to eat the potato chips. I'm going to eat the French fries fried in grease. I'm going to eat the fresh baked bread that we have every Saturday night with our family dinner. I'm going to eat those things with butter, by the way. I'm going to eat those things 20% of the time Because if you start cutting out all your favorite things, if you cut out sugar, if you cut out carbs, I don't believe our bodies were designed to have those things cut out. I believe they're designed to be balanced, a balanced diet. But if you start cutting those things out, you might do good for a short period, but eventually you're going to break. And this is where binging comes in. This is where quitting comes in. This is where frustration comes in. This is where feeling like this isn't worth it comes in. And so balance. You have got to live a life of balance. And when you have balance, and when you lose the weight having balance, it's easier to maintain it with balance versus extremes. It's just, if you're losing weight by not eating any carbs, and I've done this, as soon as you start eating carbs again, well, we all know what happens because most of us have done it. And I don't know, but, I always, when people are like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm just going to do it to jumpstart. I'm like, well, that's fantastic. Your body's smart. Like, you can't do anything extreme without it adapting eventually. But are you never going to eat a carb again? Like, you're not going to eat bread again? And that's fine if you just don't like carbs. I've never really met that person that just doesn't like donuts and carbs and chips and all those things. But hey, rice, potatoes, whatever. If you don't, that's cool. But don't be extreme. Don't make the mistake that I made for 10 years and maybe you've made for 10 years. Have balance. Our sixth and final tip on maintaining your weight loss, keeping off the weight that you lost, is getting rid of all the clothes you've undergrown. When you're losing weight, so I started at a size 22. I ended at a size 2. That's where I ended. So as I went down, I had minimal clothes, and we have a video that I did where I talk about how to buy clothes as you're losing weight, because believe it or not, there's a way to do it that will keep you going and progressing. And then there's also mistakes you can make that'll cause you to stall during that process. And so I will link that in the description box. Make sure to check that out. Again, there are, when it comes to buying clothes during weight loss, because, I had to obviously buy some clothes, but there's a very simple strategy on how to do it so that it propels you versus stopping you. But get rid of your clothes. So I sold a lot of my clothes. There's lots of different platforms that you can sell them on today. My favorite is the Marketplace on Facebook. It's like super simple, super user-friendly. Like I am a mad woman about selling stuff on, like if there's something around my house I'm not using, I snap a picture, I post that baby, and it is out of here really fast. But get rid of your clothes. Get rid of them. If you were in a size 10 and you got to a size 8, sell the size 10. If you're in a size 10 and you got to a size 6, sell the size 8 and 10. If you're in a size 22 and you get down to a size 10, sell everything else. If you're in a size 10 and you get down to a size 2, whatever it is. Like obviously I was in a size 22 and I had all my clothes were 22s. I had some 24s, some 20s. But 22 was around that size, right? Depending if it ran small. I had a lot of clothes at that size, a lot of clothes. I sold them all. And as I went down, I didn't keep the 18s. I didn't keep the 16s. I didn't keep the 14s. I didn't keep the 12s. I didn't keep the 10s. I didn't keep the 8s. I didn't keep the 6s. I skipped right over a size 4. And so all I have in my closet are size 2s. Smalls and extra smalls. That's it. And so, when I got pregnant last year, it was like, oh crap, like, I'm a month pregnant and my size 2 pants don't fit me because they just, size 2s have a little bit less give than size 22s. I hadn't gained a pound yet in pregnancy and my clothes, my jeans didn't fit me. So I lived in yoga pants and I bought a couple, I was gifted some maternity clothes, but when I got done having the baby, it was like, okay, all I had was my old clothes. So it's like, okay, you can go out and buy all new clothes or you can get back into your old clothes. It gave me no option because I really like my old clothes and I wasn't going to go out and buy all new clothes. And so when you only have one size in your closet, it forces you to maintain. It forces you to stay in those clothes. And so get rid of, and psychologically, listen, if you know that you have room to grow, we give ourselves extra room I was morbidly obese for more than a decade. There will always be a morbidly obese woman inside of this size 2 body trying to get out. I have to keep her on a tight leash. And if I had a bunch of 4s and a bunch of 6s and a bunch of 8s, it would only be so long before I would start climbing up little by little, justifying, it's okay, I'll get it off next month. These will do for now, no big deal. But if all of a sudden all my clothes start not fitting and I have nothing to wear, it kind of puts me in a pickle, doesn't it? I got to go shopping for more clothes, or I got to lose those 5 pounds and get back into them. So it makes it a little harder for me just to be like, no big deal, I'll just wear these clothes in my closet. Get rid of them. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have not, make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, give the video a thumbs up, and make sure to go watch that video where we talked about how to buy clothes so as you're losing weight, so that it does not, so that it propels you versus stopping you. Isn't that crazy to think about? That there's a mistake you can make while you're losing weight with buying clothes that could totally halt your weight loss. So I will link it in the description box.